very mid. Anyways, welcome back to a brand new LKB video. Today I'm actually going to be going over the list. I mean, all of you in my comments, recent viewers, all of that, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, even on Twitch, I've had people talking to me about this specific tier list right here, which is now my most popular video on my channel. It wasn't supposed to be like that, but it is what it is. I made a lot of people angry, and then I went on to a little rage bait sort of route, which continued the anger towards me, but if you haven't already, make sure you come over to the Twitch where I am streaming most of the time, clip farm and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I've said I was going to do a Season 1 update, as a lot of people said that I haven't used a lot of the guns, so I went and used every single gun in the game. There isn't one gun I haven't used, and here we are with the updated, now even with the Battle Royale that's come out. This might even be useful for you for Season 1 or future games, as I don't think they really do too much to the weapons tuning wise. Right now I don't think there's a big problem with anything, but yeah, all I'm going to say is let's get straight into it, and please do not blow my head up. Of course, this is preference, right? I said it in the video 1,000 times, even in the short, TikTok, whatever. I said it 1,000 times, but people still came after my neck, all of that good stuff. But yeah, this is all preference. Let's get straight into the video. So again, the first gun is the M433. I can't remember where I put it last time, but now with more guns out and all of that stuff, I will say this gun still holds up pretty well. Not perfect, but it still holds up very strong. So I'm going to go put it over into that A tier. And that's simply because we have a couple new weapons on the list, and some weapons I didn't use I use now, and I have a different point of view. So the M433, whilst it's very solid as a starting gun as well, so you got to tip that for anyone who's just coming into the game. It's a very good gun to kick off and to actually play. You can use it for a while, and it's a very good gun. And yeah, I think is perfect as we go on to the B36A4, which again, I didn't like it, and I still don't like it. So if you do like this gun, you know what, fair enough. But for me personally, the B36, it just gets gunned by a lot of the guns I'm going to put above it. So it's going to stay C, potentially low B tier, right? And that's all I'm going to say. Low B tier is the max, depending on what ends up there, right? Of course, the Scar, after the bloom changes they did, it's a little better, but it's still trash. It's still trash. But in my opinion, it's still probably the worst gun in the game, bar some guns that may be coming up here in a minute. But this gun, I just don't like it. I can't get to like it. I don't know what it is. It shoots slow. It gets destroyed by pretty much all the other assault rifles. And yeah, it's just not for me. It is what it is. And we're going to move on to another assault rifle, which is, or we are on the assault rifles, the AK-4D. And I'm not going to lie, this gun is kind of mid. It kills very quickly. It's a very hard-hitting gun, but it's very mid. It's not very versatile. If you've seen my gameplays, you know I like a versatile gun to be able to run around and take multiple gunfights. But this type of gun is a gun that really restricts in what you can do. But if you want to play a specific way, which I think this gun thrives mostly at like that short to medium range type of range, I think you'll do well. So game modes like Breakthrough, this gun might be really good for you if you're playing around the point. You know, Conquest can be useful if you're playing around the point, but as long as if the distance gets too far, then it's a bit chalked. You don't want it to get too far, because it doesn't laser like some of the other guns on the list. The TR7 had Big Man Sods in the actual stream telling me, because he's been using this gun at the moment. If you haven't already, make sure you go over to his channel, because he has helped me with the thumbnails and all of that stuff. But the TR7, from experience without attachments, which everyone's used without attachments, it is absolutely terrible. However, once you get attachments on that gun, it actually ends up being a little better than, I would say, average. And probably these guns here, you probably put it B, but that really depends if you want to suffer to get the attachments. So if you want to suffer to get the attachments, this gun could easily be A tier, B tier, whatever you would say. If not, the gun's trash, right? So with that being said, I'm going to put it in B, because I do think after you get the attachments, top of C actually. I might come back to that one, but the TR7's a bit iffy with me at the moment, all of that good stuff. The cord, I don't know where I put it last time, but right now, it might get downgraded to an A. I don't know where I put it last time. Feel free to come at my neck once again. But I feel like as I play more, I start realizing certain things. And also, I haven't really used this gun in a while, just because, I like playing with different things all the time, not just the same thing. And yeah, it's a solid gun all round, but I do think for S tier we have to put the peak of the peak, right? The peak of the peak. As we move over to the NVO, and to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed with this gun. I think I had it in A. It's been downgraded to a B because the bloom, bro. The bloom is a problem. The bloom is a problem with some of these guns. The assault rifles have a problem at the moment. I don't know if they're going to fix it or what, but the SMGs, I'm not going to lie, you're better off using a submachine gun than an assault rifle 90% of the time on this game. And that might be crazy to say, but the assault rifles are really underpowered in comparison to the SMGs at the moment. I really do think they need to make a change. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. That might go down crazy because I'll probably clip that and people will probably hate on me, but it is what it is. As we move over to the last AR, which I'm not going to lie, this gun is pretty sick. I like this gun, the L85A3, I like this gun. But the biggest problem is the bloom. Once again, the bloom is the biggest problem. I'm down to potentially put it C because I do like it over these two guns, but it is very mid. Very mid. It's consistent, but mid. Consistently mid. That's like the best way to explain the L85A3. Consistently mid. Right? Very decent, but not great. So yeah, those are the assault rifles, the actual assault rifle class. I don't actually class any of the assault rifles in S tier anymore. Again, I think the assault rifles need to get a bloom update so they can actually be more consistent. And I'll get onto that later, I guess. But yeah, that is my opinion. The assault rifles need a buff, 100%. And the carbines, as we go on to next, which realistically are just assault rifles. I don't really know why they're called carbines, but it is what it is. The M4A1, in my opinion, stays at S. This gun is very dominant, very all-rounded. I mean, it kills quick. It does everything quick except reload, but yeah, the gun is great. If you look through my channel, you'll see some gameplays with this gun. Absolutely phenomenal gun, and it's really all you can say. If you want a really good gun to go around and just ruin other people's day with, there you go. The M4A1. And yeah, it's phenomenal. The M277, another carbine. Not as good as some of these guns on the list, but it is very strong. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I really don't. Because I think the L85 is better than the M27. But the M27 is really good. So I'm going to move these two up to B, like I said I probably would, and put that to C. I think that is perfect, right? Things can bounce around, all of that good stuff, pause. But yeah, AK205, easy C. But I'm going to put it right about here. I think, in my opinion, and the reason behind this is this gun, people might absolutely love this gun. I like this gun a lot. Right, because it's got probably the best precision in the game. You can shoot me in the head if I'm wrong. I don't mind. But my biggest problem with this gun is the damage. Like, this thing is an absolute laser, right? It doesn't have any recoil. You've seen the video. If not, check the little I button somewhere around there. But yeah, it does very little damage, so this gun is very map specific. You want to use it on specific maps. The next gun can literally go in easily D or trash. I wouldn't even recommend using this gun unless you want to have like this. You have to do this to control the recoil. I understand once you get attachments, but I'm also ranking some of these guns based on how painful it was to get these attachments, right? I'm not just ranking them based on what they are at their final. I'm ranking them based on what they are overall, because ranking it just at the end when I've got everything, I'm just using it normally, like, that's not realistic. So this is realistic type shit. AK sounds like the B36A4 is a literal laser too. Yes, but the B36 has a problem with bloom. I don't like it. I have a personal grudge against this gun, I guess. It's just not for me. The GRT BC is also underwhelming. I don't even see people using this gun. When I use this gun, I felt like I was the only person in every single lobby using this. This gun is low-key kind of underrated. It's kind of iffy as well because I feel like I kind of class it the same as a TR7. Of course, the recoil and that is different, but they are kind of similar in some ways. There is another gun on here that is, I think, quite similar, unless these are the two I'm mixing up, which I mix these two up all the time from my eyes, you know what I mean? But yeah, those guns very similar in performance overall, I would say, right? Of course, the recoil, you can come back on all that stuff, but it is what it is. The QBZ 192. Here's the thing with this gun. This gun's good. This gun is on my last list. I hadn't used it yet, but I use it and it's good. It's a good gun. It's a solid top of B, right? Top of B tier. And I'll tell you why it's top of B tier. Bloom, once again, strikes again. And the bloom is just a problem that I'm not going to lie. I don't know if they're going to take it out. You can tell me to burst fire it. I don't care what you tell me to do. If I'm burst firing and the other person full shoot, like non-stop holds the trigger, I'm dead. No matter what I do. So I have to hold the trigger as well to win the gunfight. I hope you guys understand that, because I have a lot of people not complaining about bloom and saying this gun's the best or this gun's the best, when in reality these people are shooting at a range that is fucking like face to face. Once you get a bit further, the bloom comes in and the gun's just terrible. So the QBZ, whilst it's a really fun gun to use and a really beautiful gun, it just gets gunned by these other guns above it. And feel free to go drop it down in the comments like everyone did last time and complain where it is, but that's my personal opinion. And I'm going to be moving on to the SG553R, which is not that bad. This gun is good. This gun is good. I'd actually put it next to the QBZ or above, but it's not better than any of these. The SG is very good. Very good. Very, very, very good. I recommend it, but I don't think it's better than any of these. And that, I think, is mainly because of the ammo problem. Like, there doesn't have much ammo. And again, the bloom. I hate saying bloom because they said they were going to fix it, but I'm not going to lie. There is some bloom issues still happening in game. But it is what it is. Another gun that we're going to move on to now, as those are the assault rifles and the carbines, is, I'm not going to lie, you might be surprised, but I am going to knock down the SGX. I think the SGX, with more guns being added and all of that stuff, obviously not being used as much as I did use it when the game first came out, I'm going to knock it down a little bit to that A tier, a bit of a downgrade from its absolute S tier standard that we were at last time. I don't think the SGX is as perfect as I said it was, because I've obviously used other guns, and I think whilst it is a very good gun, I'd actually put it above, on top of the A tier, which is a really good point to put here. I just don't think it cracks that S tier anymore, just because of the other guns in the game, how the game's evolving and all of that stuff. The MP5, again, I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to have to, just because of bloom. And I'll tell you what, the SMGs, I don't know what it is. They might have, they 100% do. They have less bloom. You can see it in my gameplays between the ARs and the SMGs. If you slow it down, you can actually see that the SMGs do not have as much bloom as the assault rifles, which makes sense to a degree, but I still think it should be fixed. But the MP5 by far is the best gun in the game overall. Okay, there might be guns that kill quicker, there might be guns that do this, that, I don't care. I'm looking for consistency and versatility on the map. And I think I've said this many times, and a lot of people will bring up the SCW conversation, which I haven't got to yet. But the MP5, in my opinion, clears it just because of its versatility. Alright, so lock that down in your brains before you start complaining to me. That, I said that just for the clip, alright? So anyone watching the video, shout out to you. You already know what I was trying to do there. But anyways, MP7 or PW7 as it's called on Battlefield 6. Beautiful gun in real life, all that good stuff. But in the game, it's mid as fuck. So we're going to put it on C. Very decent at the start of the game. Kind of mid now. I'm actually more happy to put it down over at D, just because for the SMGs, it's not great. It is not great. I don't think it's great at all. And I'm not going to lie, just to go quick fire, the UMG or the UMP, whatever you want to call it, is absolute trash. I actually think this and the SCAR need to fight for the bottom spot of the worst gun in the game at the moment. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about these guns because they're just weak. They lose gunfights, not consistent. Don't even want to talk about it. We don't talk about trash. The USG90, it's a beautiful gun. What can I say? The P90 is absolutely amazing. I love the P90. It's not in that S tier. I would put it above potentially the M433, but not above the Cord. They're very close actually. But yeah, that is a very good gun, consistent gun if you want something to consistently, you know, be able to shoot down alleyways, you know, pre-fire some stuff. It's got good ammo. Damage is great. The recoil isn't punishing. It is very decent. This one I might get a little bit of hate for, but the Vector or the KV9, I think is very mid, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, you guys are gonna probably come for my neck saying if you play with this gun long enough, you'll get the ammo attachment for extra bullets, the bigger magazine. Listen, like I said at the start of this video, I'm not classing these guns based off of their end product. I'm basing off the overall product. So imagine you come to my video and you think, hey, what's the best gun in the game? If I tell you the KV9 and you go and use it, you have fucking 15 bullets. You can't barely get a kill with that, depending on the player you are. So that is the reason why I'm doing that. Because at the end, this gun is amazing, but it's the process of getting to that. That is what I'm trying to get to. So my videos aren't based on what is the best gun when you get to the end. It's what is the best gun overall. Please understand this. And that is like the one thing that I do want to put across. And yeah, the gun is C tier. Of course, it can be moved up as you get attachments, vice versa. But it's good, but the ammo holds it down. The SCW, similar thing. However, it shoots slower, more damage, so you can get more kills with less ammo. So this gun already goes up to the top of A tier. You've seen my videos, I drop a load of kills with this thing. It is a machine, and the people in the comments were right. I rated it low. You see how I used it, and now it's A, so it's gone up loads. All right, I knew that some of these things were going to happen, which is the reason I made the video to begin with, but I'm not going to lie. The SCW has surprised me, and shout out to everyone in the comments that did speak about it. As we move over to the SL9, and that is going to go down to D just because it doesn't do any damage. The gun is very mid. I would put it below the MP7. Let's not get into it. Decent gun, but it's not what you want to use. The L110, very solid LMG. I'm not going to lie, this thing is an absolute, like, monster. Like, you can absolutely cook with this thing. I'll put it on A. Obviously, depending on your playstyle, this thing might be a pain in the ass to play with because it is heavy, but it is very solid. And that's all I have to say. As we move over to the next gun on my list, which is the DRS. I'm not going to lie, I love this gun over the M4. I love it. Absolute monster. These are the best two guns in the game, in my opinion, at the moment. Obviously, we haven't gone through the list, but the DRS is a monster. Would recommend to everyone using to play in the game to try these guns out, the MP5 and the DRS. Absolutely phenomenal. M60 is just the epitome of mid. However, this is why I say however, because if you use the M60, you know it's a 3-shot kill. Very, very solid. So it's a very good gun to hold down the alleyway or anything that you're holding. You're going to win most of those gunfights. But it's personally not for me. So I'm going to put it down in trash. Just because it's not for me. Alright? That's what I want to get across. The gun is not for me. The RPKM, phenomenal gun. Right? Phenomenal. I love this gun. I love this gun so much. But it just doesn't crack S tier anymore. If I was willing to open up S tier a little bit more, the SCW and the RPK are the top contenders to get there. However, I just can't. S tier needs to be prestigious, and it has to stay prestigious. But I do think they are very good guns, and they have a high chance. The M123K, again, it's not my play style. So I don't really like the gun, but it is better than the M60 in my opinion. And the M250, this gun might actually be up here. I love the M250. The M250 is very solid. Very, very solid. The KTS now, this gun pissed me off because I grinded to get this gun, suppressing enemies for fucking ages with these other LMGs because I saw this had high damage, great precision. That already to me screams like a gun I want to use. Plus you can get that 60 round mag. Use it like an assault rifle, but man, this gun is so disappointing. It has a massive bloom problem, so until it's fixed, it's going to be the worst gun in the game for me. There is a massive bloom problem with this gun. Any little movement that you do on your D or A key or your joystick, the bullets just start being irregular. I don't know what it is. It might have been a bug I personally come across, but the bloom on this gun is absolutely disgusting. All right, the M240L, again, a gun that's not for my personal playstyle. Okay, so keep that in mind. I do not like it. The DMRs, I hate the DMRs, bro. If you use a DMR, you're weird, bro. You're weird. Just use a normal gun. These things, like all the DMRs, I'm putting them in D tier just because they're fucking, like, you're a weirdo if you use a DMR, bro. I just know you're not great. And I know people are going to probably scream at me for that, but DMR users, Jesus Christ, bro. You lot think you're fucking the dog's bollocks, right? You think you're elite for using the DMRs and killing people in 2 shots, but I look at the scoreboard at the end of the game and you guys are barely negative, right? You're barely negative. That sounds crazy for me to say barely negative, but if you understand what I mean, like, Battlefield isn't a game that if you're like barely negative, that's terrible, bro. Right? That means you're not doing much. That's all I'm going to say. You're doing a lot of dying. But anyways, let's move over to the M2010 ESR. This sniper's fun. And when I like things, I tend to put them high on lists. And I am going to put this one on A. It's such a fun sniper, right? This list, you should think of it categorized, right? So the SMGs, then the ARs, and the snipers and all of that, right? You understand what I'm saying? Don't think of it any other way. And I'll say that again at the end, because obviously I'm going to clip the end, all of that good stuff. And let's move over to the SV98. This shit is mid. I have had a game where I went 52-2 with it. However, I wasn't fucking recording because I'm an idiot. So we ain't actually got that to prove it. So realistically, you can say, no, I didn't. I can't argue it. But yeah, this gun is very mid. And that's what you gotta know. The PSR, this gun's great, bro. This gun's gonna go top of... It's not very versatile in my opinion. Again, my opinion. I'm gonna put it a lower B tier. My opinion. Alright? This might be good in Red Sec though. I feel like the PSR might be really good in Red Sec or the Battle Royale. So if you're here to watch for the Battle Royale, keep an eye out on the PSR because it has got really good bullet velocity. The M8A7, again, shotguns. Don't use shotguns, bro. Just don't use them. Don't use the shotguns, please. Please don't use the shotguns. To be fair, the shotguns I think need a little bit of a buff. Don't screw with me because they're really not used that much, to be honest. The maps don't really allow for it that I know of. The pistols, I'm not going to lie, I'm just going to leave a lot of these out because realistically, they're all pistols except the revolver, which I'll put at S tier because that's the pistol you should be running like a gangster. You know, you pull that out, one tap. You should be running it regardless. So the pistols stay down there. We don't use those pistols. All right. Oh my god. The saw is also very good. This is a very solid carbine. I'm gonna put it alongside these other carbines. I still have a little bit of time to play with it, but it is very good so far. Looking like it could be top of A sort of area. It is a very solid gun. But as of right now, I'm still getting to grips with the gun, so I'm leaving it here at B, which is a pretty nice spot because I think it destroys every other gun on this list. But yeah, the last gun, which I am not going to lie, might be my favorite gun at the moment, the Mini Scout. What an addition this has been. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. I love this gun. Of course, my most recent YouTube video, which might be in a couple days ago, considering, depending how long it takes me to upload this video. But yeah, the gun is absolutely amazing. And once again, we have reached the end of a tier list. So this is my Season 1 updated tier list. Of course, look at these guns categorized by SMG, AR, and all of that. Make sure you do come to the YouTube channel and watch the full thing because a lot of it is preference based. But yeah, this is my tier list. Of course, come over, comment. Let's have a little bit of a discussion. It was fun last time. And yeah, if you want to, come over and check the LKB channel. And yeah, that's been me. Hit a like, subscribe. I'm trying to reach 200 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. Why not? I put it out there. Anyways, it's been me, LKB, and have yourselves a nice night.